This is my 2020 BRG project, Emergency Preparedness Plan for Agriculture. An emergency preparedness plan is a system where we can transport animals to safe locations during natural disasters through volunteer and community work. We would use community farmers that would allow themselves to donate trailers or their time to learn where the processes were for back roads and where floodplains were, and they will be designated a farm to transport animals to safe locations outside of natural disaster zones where they will be given food, water, shelter, as well as medications if these are specialty animals that require certain qualities and feeds. The reasoning behind this is that Nelson County has dealt with multiple natural disasters, none greater than Hurricane Camille. This storm killed over 150 people and caused hundreds to well into the thousands in deaths for cattle, ovine, and equine in Nelson County. If there had been an emergency preparedness plan in place, we could have possibly saved these animals and transported them to outside locations at the Veterinary Association or possibly land donated by the FFA where we could store these animals for safekeeping. But one of the great problems for farmers during the storm was insurance does not cover animal losses because they are considered an agricultural property. Barns are also agricultural property, and if your barn is destroyed and your cattle are killed, you have to choose if you want to bring back the head of cattle or a barn, and usually farmers have to choose the building, and they have to restart from nothing while their income is lost since those animals were unfortunately slaughtered during the storm. How can a rural community come together to develop a plan for evacuation in Nelson County? So I have spoken to farmers and the Board of Supervisors. I've spoken to people who have done agriculture for years and new farmers as well to talk to them what they hope to see for this plan. And they all say that they need a way to have assurance. They need to know that there is somebody there to help them get their animals out of those danger areas and move them to a safer region. So in my study for floodplains and other fire areas or more areas that have issues with runoff or landslides, they have shown that easily we can have maybe 30 farmers at one time take care of one farm and get it out of there in no little than an hour. Get those animals out of the danger zone and into a safer region. My internship was spent at 2 veterinary clinics as well as the Almost Home Pet Adoption Center. I spent over 50 hours at both Nicole Driver's Rockfish Valley Veterinary Clinic and Dr. Liggins Livingston Veterinary Hospital. Here I learned how to give examinations, what kind of feed certain animals need, what is required for them to be maintained at a healthy weight without causing huge economic losses to the volunteers and community service helpers. And I also asked them what they hope to see for a plan. And they both said that they want it to be a mainly community service type project. They want it to be not money based. They don't want it to be a huge political push. They want it to be something where farmers are simply helping other farmers and that we can help each other out in Nelson County. For my community service, I spent it developing the actual plan and doing research into the project. And I also was able to meet with Jesse Rutherford, who is a great help in developing the plan and getting floodplain maps that I could not reach just by regular database sources. I tried to push my project to the Board of Supervisors. Unfortunately, I was putting on a back burner because a few other political policies came up, including elections and certain political issues. But I hope for this plan to go back to them soon, hopefully next year. When I'm continuing my research, I can send this plan again and they will be able to bring it to the Board of Supervisors for them to make a vote onto it. The legacy is that I hope that this plan will continue. I did an experimental design, which I demonstrated to the Board of Supervisors. I tried this plan out on my own farm during a heavy rainstorm that happened recently this year. And I tested to see if I could easily evacuate my own animals using other farmers' help. And I was able to get all 100 head of cattle out of my field in no little than an hour. So this plan could easily be brought to the Board of Supervisors and be put in place for counties here, but also be brought to regional level or possibly a state level if I could get through the political. So short term, my farm was the main point, but long term, new farmers will have a greater assurance that they can keep farming without the huge economic disasters. Myself, my farm is a cattle, poultry, and hay farm. So we mainly deal with large animals and transporting animals quickly and efficiently. That being said, we have had our huge losses during storms. During the derecho, we took a big hit and lost close to, I think, $10,000 in just one field because over 50 cattle were killed, including their calves and the pregnant mothers who were in those fields resting. And I want this to be put into place in my farm, but this could also be used, like I said, on a bigger level. This could be huge for the farming community and agricultural pioneers. So my advice to BeaverGS students is that they don't procrastinate. They make sure that they're getting their project done. I started in 11th grade, but still by the time I reached this year, I still felt rushed and unprepared for this. But I was able to buckle down, get everything done. Even though I didn't make it all the way to the board of supervisors, I was able to get this into the political faces so that they can take a look and it's there in place for them to see in the future. And hopefully BRVGS students that are coming up can take a look at what I have left behind for research and continue my project when I am gone. Future-wise, I hope to continue research into this project while in college. I have been accepted to 8 different colleges and I'm still waiting on 2 more, but I have not made any final decisions. I hope to get a agribusiness degree as well as get into pre-vet and then continue my schooling to become a large animal veterinarian and work here in Nelson County while maintaining my own farm. Thank y'all. So the particulars of my plan were, first, it was the process of figuring out back roads and different routes because flooding through is a big problem, and certain fields use fields that are out of the way so the cattle aren't stressed next to highways. So the process was testing to see where I could get certain routes and create a brochure plan that I could give to farmers who want to volunteer, and it will be designated a farm that's close to them and will be given equipment if they don't already have any to transport those cattle. And if there are any issues with certain roads, there are backup plans and backup plans for those backup plans. And another issue was trying to figure out how to get the community service through. But I did a meeting with a few farmers in our area and tried to explain to them how this would work. And they think it is a great idea for farmers to help farmers. This is basically just helping each other out to keep this practice alive and make sure that we can continue. Cost analysis, I was unable to do, but during when I went with my meeting with Mr. Rutherford, we discussed how this would be accomplished affordability wise. We would need a small sum from Nelson County in order to possibly pay for fuel, or if equipment gets heavily damaged, the idea would be farmers could pay each other, or if they can't do that, they would take loans and certain things in order to help each other out. Any other questions? Even if it gets passed on. A huge. Thank you.